everyone, and welcome back to Fresh BCSC Tech. In this video, I'm going to give you some tips for providing students feedback on Itslearning and streamlining that process there so that students get feedback from you that is actionable and is in multiple forms of representation so they can understand it, and also a way for you to efficiently go through engage student work and give them the opportunity to resubmit assignments if they need to. So we're on Itslearning. You'll go to your course, and if you've made an assignment for your students using the assignment tool, you will see all of their answers and responses here. Now, to grade student work, you have a couple of options here depending on how you've set up the assignment. If your assignment is a Google integrated assignment, which is how this one is set up, I have my Google resource there attached for my students. I have a couple of options. I can click on the student's name, and it will bring up their Google Doc here, and I can see the student's work, and I can also pop it open, another window there, this little arrow here to the side, and I can look through, and I have two options there to view their work. So to provide feedback to my students, I have the option to use the Itslearning feedback tools over here on the right. So by default, there's a couple of different statuses that you can flag the assignment as. So if it's good to go, meaning the student doesn't need to redo anything, then I can just click satisfactory. If I need the student to resubmit the assignment, then I would click not satisfactory, submit new answer. And if it's correction in progress, then maybe it's just a way for me to tell the student that I need to have a private conversation with them before they do anything else. So if I wanted the student to resubmit it, maybe as you can see on this one, the student did not finish the assignment, then I would select that one. And I have some options here in the feedback I can give. I can just start typing, but you also have the option to add files from your computer, Drive, and any other storage service that you use. I could record audio or video feedback, which is another option. There's actually been studies that have shown that students tended to prefer video and audio feedback when they're learning remotely. They felt like they were more connected to their teacher when they got that type of feedback. And I know personally, sometimes that's a little bit more efficient for me than sitting and writing out the same thing over and over again. So that's an option for you. You can use audio or video feedback. The other fun thing here, it's not obvious right away, is that this little Itslearning pencil that pops up here in this little feedback box, if you click that, you have this whole rich text editor that pops up like you see in other places on Itslearning. So you can type out text, you can add pictures, links, maybe a rubric that you use to score the assignment and you wanted to give them a copy of it. It can all be added right there. So that is where you can give feedback to the student. The other thing that's helpful here is right below the feedback to the student, there's this little discussion box. And what this does is it opens a conversation between you and the student that you're giving feedback to. So if I was using this, maybe I could ask the student, did you help finding the slideshow? Maybe that went along with this assignment. And I can add that comment there. And then the student gets a notification that I added a question there for them and then I started this discussion. And the students can respond. They can go back and they have the same discussion box here where they can type out answers. You can have an asynchronous conversation with the student, maybe before you give them their final score. If I wanted to save this piece, I would just click Save Assessment. All right, and I can always go back and edit and change that. So that is one of the ways that you can give students feedback on Itslearning. But perhaps you wanted to go through and just quickly see all of your students' results, because technically you do have to go through these screen by screen. And then if you're waiting for the Google Doc to load, it can take a little bit. The other thing that you can do is technically, and this is only for Google integrated assignments, but whenever you make a Google integrated assignment on Itslearning makes a folder for you and shares it with you in Google Drive. So if I go to my Google Drive over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to click Shared with Me. All right. And Itslearning will show up as someone who's been sharing resources with you. You've been using this feature a lot. I'm going to look for the name of the assignment that I made on Itslearning. So for this one, it was Nile River Notes. Pretty sure I have a lot of them named that, so we're just going to have to see if I can find the right one. So if I click Nile River Notes, I have 2 folders that are in here. One of them is my original template that I put as a part of the assignment. The other is all of the student work. So this is a quick way for you to see all of the student responses in one place, in one screen, rather than having to kind of wait for Itslearning. Still, you will have to open them, and if you wanted to give students feedback, you could technically add comments off to the side here. You could still provide students feedback on Itslearning, but this is kind of a quicker way, in my opinion, to get to Google Integrate assignments on Itslearning that isn't as time consuming as waiting for it to load here. So kind of a quick way to glance in, and you can also do that whenever students are working on it to pop in and give them help if you need to. So that is another tip for Itslearning and feedback.